All right, let's dive in. So, Cameron, we just heard you had your first consultation with NeuroStim in Federal Way.
Correct.
How did it go, and what were your first impressions?
It went really, really well. Um, and it was kind of surprising. They didn't have the right impression about what we were doing. They had the impression that because they are centered around depression, that's where their world is. Typically, they're trying to help people who have major depression, and maybe it's depression with anxiety or depression with PTS from PTSD or whatnot. And so we're not dealing with the depression on our side.
Got it. That makes total sense. So, it sounds like you had to do a little bit of reframing for them about why you're there and what Valerie's specific needs are. What was their response once they realized you weren't coming in for depression related treatment?
They seemed a little confused at first. So when we showed up, it hurt. One of the things that they do is most of us have done this at some point in time. We've done a little test. When you go into the doctor, they give you a test. You answer the questions of, and then you score it up. And the higher the score, the worse your depression is, and everything. And well, Valerie's not depressed. She's on an antidepressant, but is well controlled and very effective. So we definitely had to do some reframing.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like you walked in and they had their usual checklist, and you basically had to say, hey, we're here for a different reason than you might be used to. So once you clarified that, did they seem open and able to pivot toward Valerie's needs? How did they adjust their approach after that conversation?
So there was a certain amount of it that they had to do that was just still their standard, depression thing, and the consult is actually with a mental health professional, which I thought was actually really, yeah, that made sense. Really nice guy, um, and I really liked the fact that he asked about faith and asked about just how we're deal with that, because and that might be one of his normal approaches, I don't know. But he had questions, and he said he had to completely change the consult. He didn't because of this.
That's actually really great to hear. It sounds like he was flexible and willing to adapt once he understood that your focus wasn't on depression, but on TMS for Valerie's specific situation. And
Mm.
it's nice that he brought up faith as part of the conversation, since I know that's important to you both. So it sounds like once he adjusted, you felt pretty comfortable with how it went overall. Thanks for
I,
sharing that.
Yeah, so and he adjusted things, and we went. We talked. Oh gosh, it was close to an hour, I think, 45 minutes at least. It was about 45 minutes, and he said they're going to have to make a whole different protocol compared to their usual thing, but the impression that I got was the on-staff doctor, sounds like the on-staff doctor is actually kind of interested in how this is going to happen and what they're going to do. So as a different direction for what he does.
That's really interesting and honestly kind of exciting to hear. It sounds like you're sort of paving a new path for them and maybe even sparking a bit of curiosity on their end. So it's not just a routine case for them, it's chance to explore something new. And I think that's fantastic, especially if it means they're going to tailor the approach more precisely to Valerie's needs.
Mhm.
Definitely sounds like a productive first consultation.
Yeah. So one of the things that they was very clear about was expectations, because we do have to understand, we have to tailor our expectations, because while we want, all this incredible things to happen, but reality is we nothing may happen. We may spend all this money and spend 7 weeks, 5 days a week, and 2 hours of our lives between travel and the thing itself, and might might not get anything out of it. And that's so I think you did a good job of tempering that, and I think I did a good job of explaining that I already knew that.
Yeah, that's a really wise perspective to have. And it's good that he set those expectations up front. It sounds like you both are going into this with a really balanced mindset, hopeful but realistic. And that's honestly a great way to approach it because even if the outcome is uncertain, you're prepared for any scenario. So I think you're doing all the right things. And it's great that you communicated that you understand those possibilities. Let's just see
Yeah.
how the journey unfolds.
Yeah, so our next appointment is next Tuesday at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And that's going to be, and then after that, we're going to try to set the daily schedule. So that's pretty exciting.
Absolutely. That is exciting. So you've got your next step lined up, and after that, you'll be getting into the rhythm of the daily schedule.
Yep.
Sounds like you're welcome. It's been really great to talk through this, and I'm excited to see how it all unfolds for you both.
All right.
Whenever
Thanks a
you
lot,
want to,
Emma.
you're very welcome. I'm always here to help out, and good luck with everything.